Welcome back to episode 3, where we are playing the game V Rising. In this episode, we want to move a little bit further inland and begin to establish our first base. Looking around, I find a location that is pleasing to me, and we're going to follow this road right here, marked by my cursor, and finally settle in this open area in the center of the map. I right-click to place a waypoint marker, which when I close the map will now appear and help guide me towards the location that I had selected. As we begin to move forward towards our new location, we quickly run into a treant, which for us now is a skull enemy, meaning that it is at least 11 levels higher than our current gear level. Skull enemies are best avoided or approached with great caution. If you're on a server with other players, you can hit enter and type in. I've used the feature to remind me to talk about the auto run key mapping. For me, it is mouse button 4, and after my first playthrough, I discovered it and it helped my cramping hand. Here we have a level 20 skeleton who's 10 levels higher than us and is not a skull. Thankfully, he is slow and by himself and is easy to dispatch, but I would be cautious if there was a group of them. As you explore the map, you may notice that there are some yellow highlighted nodes on your map. If we hit M to bring up our map and hover over those highlighted areas, you will see the important loot that is available from those locations, such as paper, leather, bone dust, and other things of interest. We're going to pass by some of those high-level skeletons and continue towards our marker. Here I find a copper node, but as it turns out, my weapon is too low of an attack to harvest it at this time, so I check my map and continue going forward. Do note that while your map is open, you are vulnerable to enemy attack and you can also still move. Fast forwarding, we've reached our location and stumbled onto a little bit of a skirmish between some poachers and some local wildlife. We're going to third party these, take the kills, and take their items as well. I am pleased with this location, and so I will turn the volume down, speed up the gameplay, and clear out a little bit of space for our future base. With the recording sped up 800%, the chopping down of trees sounds a little bit like machine gun fire. As we return to normal speed here, I want to talk about this moose that just showed up. The moose is one of many creatures that is not a threat to you in this game, but you can find roaming about. You can kill and feed on the moose and take its resources, but we're going to leave him alone for now. He seems to be curious about our actions and maybe a little bit sad that we're destroying his home. Don't worry, Mr. Moose, we'll replant some trees in the future. At this point in our play, we have collected quite a number of resources. To make things a little bit easier to manage in our inventory, we'll left click on sort and it will group like items for us, helping to keep our inventory tidy. You may notice that in the upper left hand corner it says getting ready for the hunt and it wants us to construct a sawmill. In a previous recording, I completed the journal entry that asked us to make a castle heart, as well as some palisade walls. We'll do that now. Pressing B brings up the construction menu, and you can see that I have here selected the castle heart. In some areas you are unable to put the castle heart down, either because it is blocked by a creature, yourself, or the environment. Once your castle heart is placed, you can interact with it and you'll see a few things. First, this is a level 1 castle heart. We can upgrade our castle heart, but we're going to need some copper ingots as well as some leather. When you upgrade your castle heart, it does a few things for you. The first thing that it does is increase the border capacity of your castle. You also will gain access to a higher servant coffin limit. Your castle will be powered by blood essence. If it has no blood essence, it will actively decay. Here I take blood essence, split the stack by middle clicking the mouse, place the blood essence inside, and we have a nice little visual indicator that the blood is inside, and you also notice that our castle is powered and fortified for 6 hours. Now let's add some borders. Borders will allow you to build various structures and decorations inside of them. You may only place borders directly orthogonal to your castle heart, that is up, down, left, and right. You cannot place a border on top of a pre-existing border, but you can extend borders by attaching them to other borders. Here we've made just a simple square. The previous journal entry asked us to build a few palisade walls. Let's do that now. Palisade walls will help keep your enemies out and will be very important if you are on a PvP server. The environment blocks some of our walls, and so in order to place one of the walls down, we'll have to clear that tree in a minute. But for now, we'll put some walls on the other side of our blossoming domain. In order to make a gate, we'll need to put down a palisade entrance. Once our palisade entrance is placed, we'll be able to put a palisade gate inside. Notice that the gate cannot stand alone. It must go inside of the receptacle. Placing that, now we have a functional gate. If you're interested, you can also place individual pillars. They will snap to the corners of available territory. I did not place a pillar here, and instead elect to simply put down a few more palisade walls. This is a far from complete base, but for our purposes will do for now. Let's also go ahead and build a coffin. Here I have access to two coffins, the Haunted Knights and the standard wooden coffin. I gained access to the second coffin during a Halloween event. You may only have access to the wooden coffin. Additionally, I have the stash and the Haunted Knights small stash. We'll simply place a small stash here. Next to the coffin is a good place for me. And now let's interact with the coffin. The coffin serves as a respawn point. Additionally, when you log out of the game, your body will remain wherever you logged out. That is a real issue if you are on a PvP server, so it's always best to sleep inside of your coffin when you are finished playing. Let's take a look at the chest. Here we have a container, and we can place various items inside by dragging and dropping. That's a little bit slow though. An alternative is to simply right-click and it will place the item inside of the chest for you. I hit the sort button to clean up my inventory, but there's also a compulsively count button, which is a tremendous feature and will make your life much easier. If there are items inside of the container that exactly match the type of item you have in your inventory, you can left-click compulsively count and it will automatically place those same items into the container for you. This is tremendously helpful because V Rising has a great number of items that you will collect throughout your gameplay. Because I will be doing some more building, I'll take back some of these basic items and place them in my inventory by right-clicking. It has gotten very bright with the sun, and we have limited shade to work with. So let's build a mist brazier. I'll tap B to bring up the construction menu, left-click on the brazier, and place that on the ground in a suitable location. Interacting with F, I can take bones and put them inside of one of the slots in the upper right-hand corner. This will begin to burn the bone, giving me a minute of shade. And you will notice on the outside of my palisades, there is an increasing area of shade that is being generated by the mist brazier. This is extraordinarily helpful during the daytime, but later on, when we have access to ceilings, we will not use this item quite as much. You can toggle the brazier on and off at your discretion, but for now, we'll toggle it off and then back on as we say goodbye. We'll see you in the next episode.